Welcome to the Flow with Your Cycle mini-series where we're going to be going through each phase of the menstrual cycle, talking about energy levels, hormones, self-care and the all-important yoga and meditation that will help you get through all the symptoms you experience in each phase. Knowledge is power, and this is the cheat sheet guide to your menstrual cycle that you wish you had when you were a teenager. So let's get into it. Welcome to episode 2 of Flow with Your Cycle mini-series. This episode is all about our follicular phase. So this is once our period has finished. So generally after about day 4 or 5, this will be between your period ending and your ovulation starting. So it can be sort of between day 5 and day 12, lasting for about 7 to 10 days depending on your cycle. This is where we're starting to feel a bit more outward, we're starting to have a bit more energy compared to our period before. And comparing it to the seasons of the year, this is our spring. So if you think about springtime, we start to be a bit brighter, we have a bit more nicer weather, we're going out a little bit more compared to our sort of hibernation at winter. So that's a really nice way to think about the seasons with our cycle as to how we're feeling in our bodies. So hormone-wise, during our follicular phase, FSH, so follicle stimulating hormone, starts to rise. This is gives it the name, follicular phase. So this hormone makes the follicles grow, and one dominant follicle to grow the most. And this growth will then trigger the increase in estrogen, which is a governing hormone throughout our cycle. So estrogen will start to rise during the follicular phase and it will peak later in ovulation. And estrogen was at its lowest in menstruation. So remember we talked about estrogen and progesterone were both at their lowest in our menstrual phase. Now estrogen is starting to rise. And estradiol is another hormone, an estrogen hormone that is released. And this will cause symptoms such as enhanced focus, improved mood, feeling less anxious and an increased sex drive. So you will notice these kind of symptoms. Like I said, think about our spring. We're more outward, we're more sunny. That is the kind of things that you'll be experiencing during this follicular phase, all governed by these incredible feminine hormones. So doing our comparison with the lunar cycle, the follicular phase is reflective of the waxing moon phase, which comes after the dark moon. So this is where the moon is starting to be seen again. It's done hibernating and hiding away, and it's very gradually starting to show itself. And I think of that as your energy just gradually starting to rise after being very low energy and very inward during our menstruation or during the dark moon of the lunar cycle. So the waxing moon phase, energy starting to rise, we're feeling brighter. And we just start to feel a bit more outward, a bit more powerful. And that's indicative of the moon starting to show itself and us starting to come out of our winter hibernation. Okay, yoga for the follicular phase. So we're done with our gentle restorative yoga during our period, and we're now moving into a little bit more energizing type of poses. We want to help to stimulate the ovaries, increase blood flow to the uterus, and just calm the nervous system. So we're always working to support our nervous system, no matter what phase of the cycle that we're in. So some great examples of yoga for this phase would be sun salutations. They're a really beautiful way to stretch the whole body using all kinds of muscle groups, building up heat, building up energy gradually. And also as it's spring and the sun is coming out more, what a beautiful metaphor for our salute to the sun. So sun salutations are a really beautiful yoga practice to do in your follicular phase. Also standing poses are energizing, so the warrior poses, they're really beautiful just to stay in. Deep breathing for a couple of minutes, just to really feel the power and the grounding of that pose. Warrior poses are quite simple in nature, but there is a lot going on. They are suitable for beginners, but again, you have to get all your alignment cues right and they're actually a really powerful grounding pose when they're done correctly. So this is really nice match to our sort of outward energy feeling in our follicular phase. So sun salutations, warrior poses, also back bends and twists. They're really energizing and rejuvenating as well. So you can kind of see the theme here with the yoga is naturally aligning with the energy that we're feeling for the phase. So we don't ever want to be in conflict with our body. We want to be listening to it and moving with it. If our body tells us to slow, we slow. If our body's like, I've got some energy, we cultivate and we kind of feed into that. So we're truly aligning with our body's energy levels. So sun salutations, warrior, twists and back bends are all wonderful ways to use yoga during your follicular phase. I do have a specific yoga practice for this phase. I will drop a link so that you can save that for the next time you're in this phase of your cycle. So we've talked about energy changes during the phases of our cycle, but also our social energy changes too. So during our follicular phase, we're more likely to feel outcome focused than we are people focused. And we'll talk about that in the next phase. So outcome focused, you're more likely to start a new habit or set a new goal. You might be planning your social events for the next phase when you're feeling more social. So it's really interesting that actually our socializing changes based on the sort of social energy that we're experiencing in each phase. I find that really fascinating. So we feel more outcome focused. So we might be writing to-do lists, filling in our planner, making future social plans, starting new things. Also, it's spring, remember? So some nice self-care tips would be buy yourself some beautiful flowers, have a walk in nature, listen to some bird song, really embrace your inner spring season as new beginnings, new light, new energy, and feeling very outcome focused during this time. Okay, so that's a wrap on phase 2, our follicular phase, and we've talked through yoga that will support us, as well as our energy, social shifts, and self-care tips we can do to really help us during this phase. Next up will be ovulation, where estrogen peaks, energy peaks, and fertility comes into play. So we will see you in the next one. Thanks for listening all the way through this episode of the 30 Something Shift podcast. I really hope you enjoyed it and got something valuable from it. Don't forget to subscribe below so that you get the next episode. They'll be dropping weekly, as well as all my yoga and meditation practices. Take care.